Okay, I want to tell you the truth about KPIs. There's 1,000 different KPIs for you to track, but there's really only 3 that matter for really any wholesale business that's starting, scaling, looking to grow. Yes, there are really good KPIs out there that you can track, but as it pertains to how to make better decisions in the business, how to consistently grow and scale the business, knowing these 3 KPIs are going to be far more important for you than really any other ones that I've found. The first one is going to be cost per deal. The reason why cost per deal is important is because a lot of people that are running a wholesale business operation or anything like that, they're just not spending enough on marketing. And yes, you want to be as efficient as you can with marketing. Yes, you want to make sure that you're not overspending when it comes to marketing. But when you understand what your cost per deal is, now you know with a reasonable amount of data, instead of just intuition, how many deals you can close with the money that you're spending. If you're in competitive markets like here in Phoenix, Arizona, the cost per deal is going to be much, much higher than somewhere like Birmingham, Alabama, where the cost per deal is a lot lower. Okay, I want to tell you the truth about KPIs. There's 1,000 different KPIs for you to track, but there's really only 3 that matter for really any wholesale business that's starting, scaling, looking to grow. Yes, there are really good KPIs out there that you can track, but as it pertains to how to make better decisions in the business, how to consistently grow and scale the business, knowing these 3 KPIs are going to be far more important for you than really any other ones that I've found. The first one is going to be cost per deal. The reason why cost per deal is important is because a lot of people that are running a wholesale business operation or anything like that, they're just not spending enough on marketing. And yes, you want to be as efficient as you can with marketing. Yes, you want to make sure that you're not overspending when it comes to marketing. But when you understand what your cost per deal is, now you know with a reasonable amount of data, instead of just intuition, how many deals you can close with the money that you're spending. If you're in competitive markets like here in Phoenix, Arizona, the cost per deal is going to be much, much higher than somewhere like Birmingham, Alabama, where the cost per deal is a lot lower. Understanding this cost per deal will help you figure out what's your overall return on your market versus just pissing away money and not really. When you start to calculate your cost per deal, you can start to dive a little bit deeper and figure out, okay, what's my cost per deal per lead? Which one of my lead sources is getting me the best ROI? I did this morning with a client and it really helped us make a decision on, okay, do we keep spending more on marketing? Are we spending enough on marketing? Or should we relocate to a different market where our cost per deal is a lot lower? We can close more deals with the same amount of money. Most people will make that using intuition or use group or ask questions in a mastermind. But if they don't actually know the numbers of their business, no, they don't understand their own cost per deal, they may be leading you down a path that's not really helpful for you because no one's in your situation. They don't know all the numbers or KPIs of your business, and for them to say, hey, go to a different market or test this marketing source, and you don't know your own cost per deal, is going to help you, it's going to lead you to making a bad decision. And in order to help yourself so you can make better, understand what this cost per deal, so that way you know, hey, am I spending enough money? If I want to close 5 deals and my cost per deal is $5,000 and I'm only spending $500 a month, there's no way I'm going to close 5 deals if that's what my cost per deal is. Now, I know a lot of people are out there probably griping and complaining like, hey, I don't have the money for this. I'm doing driving for dollars. I'm door knocking. I'm doing the free methods of marketing. That's great. That's going to get you a low cost per deal. But our goal here isn't to try and get the lowest cost per deal. It's trying to get the most efficient. Because when it comes to doing the cold calling yourself, when it comes to doing driving for dollars, or it comes to doing knocking, whatever that is, if you're spending your time on those sources of marketing, you're not leveraging that time well enough. Because you also have to factor in your time on each one of those markets. If you're driving for dollars, there's a capacity on how many hours you can drive for dollars. There's a capacity on how many properties you can pen and skip trace and do all of those during a given day, and still have time to make those calls, and still have time to make offers, and still have JV partners and cash buyers, and still have to try and close those deals. You just don't have enough time, so you have to factor that in. Also with the cost per deal is how much of your time. So that's why for a lot of clients with us, I recommend as soon as possible to get the marketing off their plate. So that's why we focus on things like texting, which obviously right now is a kind of a weird time with tech. We know that it's kind of running out of stops in places that are just going to move it to more of a back-end marketing channel. But things like cold calling, things like PPC, if you're doing targeted Facebook, or if you're doing things with JV partners, focus on those other methods of marketing that are going to get you a cost per deal, and analyze and actually know those numbers so you know where to spend the money. And that way at the end of the month you can say, hey, we actually made a 40% profit or 50% profit or whatever that profit number is for you, because now you can go back and say, hey, we spent X amount of dollars on marketing, generated X amount of dollars in assignment fees or returns, so this is the profit of or the ROI on that that market. So now you can start to reverse engineer this. So the next KPI that we're going to talk about is close rate. You need to understand your close rate because we want to track obviously how many offers we're making to deals closed. This is going to help you figure out if there's issues with sales, if there's issues with lead quality, if there's issues with the offers that you're making. Close rate is going to help you diagnose a lot of things. It's important, and it's also make sure that you track this and you don't have your ego attached to it. Doesn't matter if you have a low close rate, high close rate. It doesn't matter. It is what it is for your business. It is what it is for your market. You can always improve your close rate. If you're at the ceiling of what you think is possible with close rate, I guarantee you there's probably a way to increase it or improve it. But we want to track close rate from offers to deals closed. We want to track that number because, again, we're just working backwards through all these. Once we understand what our close rate is, we understand what our cost per deal is, start to help us paint a better picture of what to do with the business. And close rate's one of those things that helps us diagnose, like, are you just bad at sales? Do you need to get some sales mentoring? Do you need to hire someone to do sales? Are the leads that you're making offers to, are they quality leads? Are you making good offers? Helps you diagnose all those things by just knowing your close rate. Next KPI that you want to track is leads to offer. Of the leads that you're generating from each source, how many of the leads you're generating, how many of those are you making offers? Because that rolls up into close rate. How many offers are you making and how many offers are those closed? And you can break this down by lead source. You can look at things like direct mail and PPC and Facebook ads to figure out, okay, hey, we're generating 50 leads a month from this. We're making 15 offers and we're closing one of those, or we're closing none of those. Is that the best method of marketing for us? If it's not the best method of marketing for us, why? Is it because we're not making offers? Is it because we're not closing them? Or is it because our cost per deal is too high? See how those work backwards so that way you can paint a better picture. Did this with a client, like I said this morning, to help really figure out, like, okay, do we need to expand market? Do we need to just invest more into marketing? And we looked at, okay, how many leads were generated from each source? How many offers did we make? How many are in the pipeline? How many of those leads from that source did we close? And what was the cost per deal? So that way we can roll it back and say, hey, we're spending $2,000 a month on text message campaign. It's costing us X amount of dollars per lead. Our close rate is this. This is what our return is on that method of marketing. Everyone looks at houses and looks at what their ROI and cash on cash and stuff is. You can do the same thing with your business. Don't be afraid to take those same numbers that you're doing when you're comping and running the numbers on a house and analyzing the deal to do that with your business, because that's how you grow and scale the business, is by looking at it with those numbers versus just making the gut intuition decisions. And that's where the unpredictability, the businesses that aren't consistent, don't track the numbers and the KPIs. So for every client that comes in, we help them find, what are those KPIs for you? How much should you be spending on marketing? What should your close rate be? Or what is your close rate now? So that way we can say, hey, if your goal is 5 deals a month, it takes you 100 leads to make enough offers based off of your close rate in order to close those 5 deals. So now we know, okay, what are the methods of marketing that are going to help us most cost effectively get to that 100 leads number or 200 leads number? And if we do that method of marketing, what's the cost per deal? Are we still profitable when we do it? That's why KPIs are important, because now you can start to make these logically based decisions. And that's how you ratchet up and grow the business, by making those decisions that way versus, I heard in a mastermind or heard in a group or watched a YouTube video, they said, I need cold callers or I need to be doing PPC. And you go out and do something like that and you lose your shirt because you don't know the number. You didn't track the marketing spend. You didn't figure out what the cost per deal is. So hopefully this helps you. Make sure you, if you're new here, you subscribe, like down below, leave me a comment on what your best method of marketing is right now. And if you have questions on how to track these numbers, just comment down below and I'll help you out. Excited to drop some more of these videos for you guys, and I'll see you in the next one.